Good evening. Welcome to Astrology Throwdown tonight. So glad to have you here. I have been spending so much time analyzing George Ivan Van Morrison's chart. I feel like I know him even more than I did feel like I knew him. And I have more respect for him, even more respect, because I kind of see what he goes through and he helps me understand where his music comes from. We put up a lot of songs from Moondance today, and I was really blown away um, by a recent reading that we did of Elvis Costello's memoirs, where he was discussing the songs that he was going to start playing with his partner, Alan Mays, back in the early 70s, and how Alan was telling Elvis Declan at the time what songs he liked, and I put one of them up called Raider today. Beautiful song. I can't wait to find out more about Alan Mays. He's so cool. And and Elvis said that what he was standing up for were Moondance and Astro Weeks by Van Morrison. Those are like my favorite albums. I mean, probably everybody's. They're so good, but I was really excited that he liked those albums that I love so much. I'm just crazy about those two albums. They're so good. They're just so incredible. They're really from another place. So that's why we have the most incredible opportunity to really learn about real astrology and to do it ourselves. So we hopefully acquire some real knowledge, and we're using that Saturn energy to work, study, apply ourselves. These are the good parts of Saturn. Boy, I got too much Saturn. But look how I use it. I use it working. I'm restricted. I'm under permanent quarantine because the banking dynasty under which we're so unfortunate to live under, this banking dynasty who throw BS stories at us to stop us from enjoying our lives and making progress, and stop us from telling the truth, stop us from doing the right thing. All of these barrels that they throw at our feet to try to keep us weak and divided. So I really want people to see that the media is run by people who want us in wars. They want us sick. They want us to hate ourselves. They want women to think that they're not beautiful. That's one of the most evil things that I think the television does, is they tell women that they're not beautiful, and they create a world. The world has been created, so it's so difficult for anyone to support themselves. How can we support ourselves? There's no free market. And how are women supposed to live? And how are we all supposed to live when there's no free market? Oh, I guess we have to go become whatever the banking dynasty wants. What does the banking dynasty want of us? You know, the women to become degenerate prostitutes, the men to become pornography addicts, you know, whatever is just going to make us hate each other and not get along and have no hope. And so you can see how male and female relations have been attacked for centuries, and this is all on purpose to weaken us. So I was also reflecting on something very interesting, because I was reading all of these books about Napoleon, and Elvis stopped me, and he's Napoleon. So I thought that was wild. He said I made my point. Yeah, I guess I did. But I was in the middle of that, and I'm really curious about some things. I was hoping to find out. I needed to get better at French to find something. That's part of my goal there. I'm uh, I'm really obsessed with Napoleon. I really want to find out what happened. There's a lot of questions I still have. I'm rambling, but it's funny that that happened. Anyway, so one of the books that I did read, and I hope people will listen to the books that I recorded about Napoleon. One of those books was Napoleon. Right before he died, he told the story of Caesar to his valet Marchand. And this was something he wanted his son to know. It's very, very powerful. And for whatever reason, I only read it in Spanish. I never got to read it in English because I have so many, I don't want to say better books, but books I'd rather read. So I was down to my last Spanish book, so I read the Julius Caesar book only in Spanish. So I have to wonder if I understood it. But nonetheless, I did read it in Spanish, and by the end, I got the point. Basically, Napoleon's going on and on and on about how Julius Caesar took over and the wars he fought and all the things that happened and these different factions and stuff. And then the last page, he says, he lets you know that he was murdered by the dark occultists, basically. I don't know what he calls them. He certainly doesn't call them dark occultists, you know what I'm saying? But he basically lets them know that they're this other kind of people who are incredibly destructive and against the population and against Jupiter. That's the wild thing. The whole point of that story is that Napoleon should have dealt with them, and he was murdered as Caesar because he didn't deal with them. And he stood up for Jupiter, and he stood up for the people. That's his story that he was trying to tell his son, that there really is an evil oligarchy. And this evil oligarchy, we can see them throughout history from Chaldea, Babylon, Egypt, Greece, Rome, and then the big banking empire in Italy. And then it goes up to Germany, it goes up to England. And we can see the same exact group that behaves in the same way. They enslave through banking, and they have so many techniques. So they have it down to a science how to enslave us humans. The question is, who are they? And there is a song by Elvis Costello called "Who Are These People?" And we're all wondering because even Napoleon, on his last breath, practically, was saying, "They're evil, and I should have dealt with them, and they're killing me, and that's why I'm dying. And let my son know." That's what Napoleon was saying right before he was finally murdered, after the most barbaric murder process imaginable. To the way they killed him is true evil, because Napoleon always said, just please, let's get this over with. Don't do it this way. And they did it that way because they are so sadistic, and they want everyone to know how sadistic they are, because this whole system is run by terrorism. That's terrorism, to show that this great hero was murdered so cruelly. His second wife was perfectly aware of what they did to him. How do I know that? Because her letters, I have her letters. And just to tell you about the situation, so they sent him this brainwashed handler to be his second wife and had her have a child with him. And then they had her pretend to love him. And then when the game was up, they took the woman and the child back, and then of course the child didn't live, and she went off with the new handler that they gave her. And then they gave her a duchy so she could live in luxury. She could not possibly live on her own. She was a complete slave to luxury. So this is what they did to him. Well, anyway, so this is the same people, and they change. I really have to wonder if there's spirits that are jumping bodies. And that's why I wonder if transhumanism is so they don't have to jump bodies anymore, that they'll just have their little robot that they can live in and then enslave the world through that animatronic human/robot. I mean, why are they so into transhumanism? They're clearly up to something, and they're not running the show. You think David Rockefeller was running anything? He was a vessel. Why did he live that long? David Rockefeller is your perfect, shining example of them. Okay? That's them. They're going to tell you it's the guy down the street, or it's the guy who said something you don't like. No, it's a person like David Rockefeller. He's dead. He can't sue me. But just look at everybody around David Rockefeller. Woo, that's easy. He's easy. So everyone around David Rockefeller, that's them. and then everybody enforcing Nuremberg Code violating rules. A Nuremberg Code violating rule is some sort of gross, inhuman, monstrous, uh, organized cruelty towards helpless people who okay, so this has to end. This has to stop. And I'm I'm so grateful to the two people who really didn't go along with that banking dynasty when they blacklisted me. How do I know they blacklisted me? Because the whole media blacked me out, including in my own town, even in my own town. So they even own the media in my own town. And that is, I hope the people in my area understand that. Okay, because I used to work for one of those papers. So now you know who runs them. Because I used to get press here. I'm doing something that's very significant to this area. And this is an area, talking about the Hamptons, known for art. See, so it's showing the hypocrisy, and how this place is completely bought by that banking dynasty. And this has been proved continually. So everything that that banking dynasty has done to me has only exposed the breadth of their strings, how far their strings go, and how far their strings don't go. Okay? And I wanted to know that. I was very interested in that information. How powerful are they? Turns out, yeah, they are pretty powerful, but there's a lot of things they can't do. Okay? Apparently. Anyway, so I'm rambling horribly. And I was talking about Van Morrison's chart, and what I'm trying to get at best I can is to say that I have unending gratitude to Elvis Costello and Van Morrison, who are my favorite musicians by far. There's other good ones, of course, a lot of other good ones, but they're by far my favorite musicians. But I do like other ones, obviously. And my two favorite musicians uh, did what they could to be supportive of me, and I can't ever let them know what that means to me and the gratitude that I feel towards them. And I still anguish a lot over how I treated Elvis. I feel terrible about it, and I can't even handle it sometimes. I don't think he wants me to be upset about it, but I am. Anyway, I just can't. The more I find out about him and how much emotional pain he goes through, and it's you can't help it when you're like that, you know. And I'm like that too. Anyway, so what's really interesting is I obviously I'm so sensitive. Anyway, a couple days ago, I did feel like I tuned into Van Morrison, George Ivan Morrison, and I treasure him so much. I really don't want him to ever be mad at me for anything, because I just want to get along with him, and I just want things to be good. Anyway, it's hard. This is a hard situation for all of us. But what I'm trying to say is so exciting about this opportunity is I have synastry charts of two people I've never met who are having this tremendous influence on my life, and I think I'm having influence on their lives too. So we've never met, and yet we are working on each other energetically, and everything that's going on is completely transparent. And that's really cool. We're having completely transparent relationships through the internet. So this is kind of groundbreaking. And we're standing up to that banking dynasty. And they're not doing it the way I'm doing it, but they're doing it the way they're doing it. And I love the way they're doing it, and I'm sure they're doing their absolute best, and I'm sure their hearts are in the right place. And I'm so grateful for them. I don't know what I would do without them. And anyway, so I do feel that George Ivan asked me to look at our synastry, and I was like, oh, I'd love to. You know, I just don't ever want to um it, upset him in any way, or bother him, or overstep any boundaries. I don't ever want him to feel disrespected. I mean, there's just no end to the respect and and admiration. I mean, just he's so incredible. His talent is so incredible. He made music like nobody else has ever made. I mean, no one else. Even as great as other musicians are. I mean, there's no one else who ever wrote like Young Lovers Do. That might be my favorite song. I do love that song. I can listen to that song forever. That's I can't believe how beautiful that song is. It probably is my favorite song. That so he has songs that are like nobody else has. He's really a great musician. Anyway, so I was thrilled at hopefully I'm right that he does. I'm sure he's not mad at me about it. But when I looked at this industry chart, why do I keep beating around the bush about it? Because when I looked at this industry chart, I was like, oh, something really jumped out at me, and it was really wild because I did talk about George Ivan's sun and how it's making like no aspects. I don't understand how that works. He's so famous, but his Jupiter is doing a lot of things. So that could be his fame. And his sun is right on my part of fortune. So what's the part of fortune? It's an indicator of what you need to do to succeed. And it's just an indicator. It's not a planet or anything. I don't know how to calculate it, but there's calculators online. So you could find out what your part of fortune is. Or, I have it calibrated on Astrology to show the part of fortune. And basically, we're just studying it to see if it works. And I find that it looks pretty good. But there's some really interesting things happen with my part of fortune and George Ivan's part of fortune. And it's all like a group, like they're talking to each other. So you can go into the astrology report on my blog and you can see what I'm talking about. And I wrote out a Sun, Juno, part of fortune. So that's what George Ivan has. He has no aspects, Sun, conjunct Juno. Think of that, Sun conjunct Juno. That's such a serious, devoted, uh, like loving, long term type energy. Juno just wants to be, I think, respectful to women and a strong woman and a good woman and wants to have a devoted relationship. And that's her story. So that puts a cast to his son. It's kind of a serious, sensitive kind of son, which is how he comes across. He's not somebody that I would feel like I can just joke around with him, or I wouldn't feel like being familiar with him. He's like he's such a legend. I'm sure that's very isolating for him to be such a legend, but he is such a legend. It's too bad he is a legend. So anyway, so his son and his Juno are right on my part of fortune. Okay, so this is happening in Virgo. Okay, and it's so weird the way this is. My part of fortune is just in the fifth house, and his part of fortune is just on the other side in the fifth house, but it's flipped. The whole thing's flipped. So they're actually mirroring each other. It's really interesting. If you just look at it, it's just interesting to look at this, the way the part of fortunes are mirroring each other perfectly in the fifth house, at the end of the fifth house. Like, how does that even happen? And then there's Juno and Vesta mirroring each other or something the same way. So everything here, when I looked at this, when I put the chart together, I was like, oh my goodness, this is like devotion and love and luck and fame. And I mean, that's that's hard to miss. And then if you go over to my son, where I'm always going on and on and on about how it's like my whole life is this other person. I mean, I have my own thing going on. I have Jupiter in the 10th house in Aquarius. So I'm a teacher, or that really could be the hero's journey, or bringing it to the people, bringing the hero's journey to the people, because Jupiter is adventure and going beyond your surroundings. It's really what I do. Okay, so I'm, Jupiter in the 10th house in Aquarius. And then I have this square, this difficult aspect with the sun in the 7th house in Scorpio. So I have this dark and powerful media big shot because Mercury's there. Okay. And then right there, that's where my sun is. My sun is in a place of someone else. Where is George Ivans? What's going on with George Ivan over here? He's a big shot. He's a media big shot. He's I don't know, is he Scorpio? He's spiritual. He's powerful. He's powerful over minds, that's for sure. He's bringing up secrets. He's not afraid to dredge up the dark things. So I say Scorpio abounds right there. And then he's bringing in his Black Moon Lilith, his Ceres, and his his Vesta. See, so I'm bringing Vesta to his sun, and his part of fortune, his Juno, and he's bringing. Does this make any sense when I say I'm bringing? That's my side. I'm the Vesta side to his sun. So I'm the devoted one in Virgo. You can't get more devoted than that, because Virgo is all about service and giving and health and being helpful and all that. So to be devoted in Virgo is to be very, very, very devoted. And the ruler of that is Mercury. And that's right where I'm talking about this Mercury and Sun. See, so this kind of throws you up there to the big shot in the seventh house in media in Scorpio. And then you go there, and George Ivan has his planets affecting my sun. So a nurturing devotion and like activism is what he's bringing to my sun. My sun is my whole, my ego and what you see and who I am, and everything is the sun, and I'm a Scorpio and everything. And he's bringing all this devotion and help and activism. He really has. So you can see it's playing out, and there's a square with Venus. So there's love. There's difficult but love. There's I think this this story is far from over, and I'm glad. I hope I did hear him. I'm sure I did, because I know he's perfectly telepathic and all that stuff. That I don't question. I know that. I do feel him sometimes. So I he really is a mystic. I know that. I know he is. But you don't have to know. He's obvious. It's in his music. It's cool. We're really on our way somewhere, I think, because we are going to that next level. People have been talking about the ascension, and a lot of it really is charlatans, and I hope people know that. But I think there really is an ascension. I think there really are twin flames. I think some of these new age things that they turn into a scam, the underlying concepts are actually real, and they're just trying to like run it into a ditch and make money off of it while they do it. That's what I think so much of the new age world is. And I remember when I was dealing with it back in 2017, and I would see it's a world of scammers, and it's of course straight from that banking dynasty. Where else? That's how they control us. They use religion to control us. So I mean, obviously, I saw all these new age people just basically saying, like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. You guys know what you're doing. It's not that they're deceived, it's that they're deceiving. You see? If they said to me, oh, really, we're terrible, help us improve. Okay. No, they were like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. It's a scam. The vast majority of that is a scam. The whole new age thing is a psyop. I hope people understand that straight from those bankers, the same bankers that are doing that to like the Bible-based Christianity. It's the same exact people. They're controlling the public, and people think these are modalities and stuff. And they're under it. There is truth. There really is a Jesus. Seek him, definitely. And a new age, there really are twin flames, and I think an ascension really is underway. See, so they're just trying to subvert something that's coming anyway. Maybe they know. We really have to wonder who's running this banking dynasty, and we need to start asking questions. We need to find out why they behave that way, and what are they? Who are these people? Because I can't. I am tortured and anguished that I was cruel to Elvis Costello. How do they kill millions and millions and millions of people and then plan to kill millions more? How did they live with it? See, these are we should study them, and we should keep them away from any levers of power where they could continue to hurt people, continue to quarantine people like me for BS stories, continue to shut people down for telling the truth. You see, we should study them, but we shouldn't let them own and control everything. But we should study them to find out how they became this way. How can they kill millions of people and then continue to kill millions of people? And how can we allow it? We should study ourselves for how do we allow it, you know? Anyway, so we're going to continue to study these synastry charts. I looked at these charts and I was looking at my chart with Elvis and then my chart with Van Morrison. It's like I've heard them in the charts, and I have. I'm sorry. Any pain that I've caused, I'm so sorry. I'm so, so sorry. Truly. I don't want to cause anyone any pain anymore. Is that possible? Can I stop causing people pain? I would love to stop causing people pain. That would be so wonderful. So if we could just kind of iron things out and find a way to get along and stop hurting each other. And I don't want to hurt anybody anymore. I didn't, but I don't want to anymore. I would love to stop hurting people. So anyway, so here's a letter from Napoleon to Josephine. He has just won his big battle. So the banking dynasty is constantly pulling Napoleon into more wars. And then Napoleon does not want these wars. He does not want to watch his friends die. He does not want to live the life of a warrior as he gets older. But his emotional life is so shattered that it gives him a thrill to make history. So that becomes the thing that excites him. And that's how he was subverted into going along with the banker dynasty to bring war to Europe. And I'm so sorry that Napoleon didn't understand that the wars were always over Italy, you know? And they knew he would always go to war over Italy. See, this is them. Okay, they figure the person out. Napoleon wanted to keep Italy. He just had some sort of need to keep Italy. And that's what all these wars were about. So they understood they could get a war if they were going to take Italy back. Oh, first thing they did is they took Italy back, and then they sent Marie Louise to go to her duchy with her handler while they took Napoleon's son from even her and then kept him like a prisoner until he died. Unbelievable. And every time I got near the story of Marie Louise or Napoleon's son, all these agents would start creeping up, saying, like, don't you dare talk about our people, you know, because those agents work for those aristocrats. And then they're like, oh, you better not talk about our people. Okay. And that shows me that they know what they did and they don't want the public to know, because this is how they operate. This is a different culture. Okay. It's money, 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 money. Okay. It's whatever. Okay. It's a different set of priorities. And that's why it's so wonderful that Uranus is in Taurus right now. So we can change our values and understand that money is a wonderful thing, but other things are much more important. Okay. Selling your soul for money is not good. It won't work. Anyway, so here is the letter. And I feel like I have to say that Napoleon was subverted because he was so subverted. I'm so sorry that he helped them bring so much war to Europe. Okay. And I'm trying to show you that this is kind of like pre-World War I. This is how they do it. They want to have Europe raised by war, and they like to do it periodically. Okay. This is real, and they were due for another one. And I strongly believe that many of us have been able to hold them off. So they haven't been able to have the World War III that they've been dreaming of. How do I know that they've been dreaming of World War III? Because they tried to get me involved in it. They put me in a book promoting civil war in the United States. Like, I can't figure that out. That they want me to help them foment civil war in the United States so they can have another civil war in the United States while they throw World War III at us. Oh, guess what? They did that to France in the late 1700s. Okay? That's why they don't want people understanding history. They play the same tricks over and over again. They foment civil war. They create these reigns of terror. That's exactly what they've been doing. That was a reign of terror because they want to take over everything, and they're close to finished. Okay? Anyway, here's the letter. I have concluded an armistice. Within 8 days, peace will be made. I am anxious to learn that you have arrived in Munich in good health. The Russians are retiring. They have suffered an immense loss. Over 20,000 dead and 30,000 prisoners. Their army is reduced by 3/4. Buxhoden, their general in chief, he was killed. I have 3,000 wounded and 700 to 800 dead. I have a little eye trouble. It is epidemic, but trifling. Adieu, my love. I'm very anxious to see you again. I'm going to sleep tonight in Vienna. Napoleon. See? It's terrible. Anyway, that's why we talk about the truth, so we can finally do something about it. Hopefully, okay? Please look within. Please become aligned. Please listen to your instructions. Please do what you're told to do, because we can't live like this. I can't live like this. I cannot be permanently quarantined because I tell the truth. I'm doing the right thing. When I'm quarantined and they can run around on their planes and do their child trafficking, why are they doing so much child trafficking? Okay? Uncontested. Franklin cover up. This came out in the 80s. They covered up. The cover ups tell you the truth. Okay? The Franklin cover up is the truth. Okay? This is how they are. They are doing horrific things to children, and they're doing horrific things to the rest of us as well. This needs to stop. This needs to stop. Absolutely. Wow. Wow. I think everybody should be vociferously supporting me right now. They cannot do anything. There's not that many of them. It is a small group. The ones that are that evil, that want to kill, it's not that many of them. Okay? And all of the blackmailed people that are handing down these Nuremberg Code violating rules, okay, so far outside the law. What they're doing is so illegal. They are getting themselves ready for their Adolf Eichmann future, because that's what this group does. They kill the fall guys. Okay? That's exactly what they do. They set their stooges up to a situation where what they're doing is just so evil that no one will ever defend them. And then they kill them. Okay? So that's what all the blackmailed people have in store for them who are not cutting the strings. Adolf Eichmann, there's a precedent. Okay? They do kill the fall guys every chance they get. Okay? This is a dark occult left-hand path theocracy running the world finance system and the world media, and unfortunately the governments. This is out of control. We absolutely must unite. Please listen to Van Morrison and listen to me. This is unbelievable. This has to stop. That they're going to just lie to us, trick us, treat us like vermin to be exterminated. They killed my mother, and I'm quarantined because I won't take the thing that killed my mother. This is evil. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. I can't believe what we're facing. They guilt tripped us our whole life because of Auschwitz or something we didn't even do, and they're doing this in our face from the media. Unbelievable. Seriously. And all of these people that back it up and support it and think that it's going to be a wonderful lifestyle decision to continue serving that banking dynasty like an asset, good luck with that. Good luck with that, okay? Because they're not loyal. They are using the assets. The assets are not their friends. And if the assets think that such is the case, they should read Victor Ostrowski, because Victor Ostrowski says they think they're dealing with their friends. They're not, okay? They are the friendliest people. They act like they are your best friends until they turn on the assets, okay? the assets are dreaming if they think that they have a wonderful future being backed up by this banking dynasty. Good luck with that. Okay, so let's continue. See, I'm almost too mad to continue, but let's continue. This is Elvis's wonderful memoirs. Uh, Incredible. And I did say in the blog today, I think there's 2 stories here, and I think we're gonna have to deeply examine every single song to find out what's going on here, because I'm hearing things, I'm seeing things. This book is incredible. What an achievement. All right. So he's he's working on his set list with Alan Mays, and Rusty's gonna take over the world. And Elvis Declan is dealing with personnel, taking over in the somewhat dictatorial but utterly charming way that Napoleon and Elvis operate. They're dictators that you want to have dictating things. They're good dictators. Something about them. They're very good at dictatorship. Anyway, hopefully we will get to enjoy. I want to enjoy another Napoleon dictatorship because they're great. They're great. They're great for culture. They're great for music. They're great for young people. They're great for education. They're great for commerce. They're great for banking. I love Napoleonic dictatorships. They are the best thing if you're like an artist. Wow. It's just don't be horrible because you'll get thrown out. That's the whole thing. That's why he was brought down because he did not just put up with them. Okay, that's what this is all about. This tiny little group that has to be in control. Okay, let's continue. If there had been a moment after the Beatles hit when it seemed any Liverpudlian scruff with a guitar could get signed, that moment had definitely passed during my summer holidays in the 60s. I used to kick a ball around a scrap of grass with a gang of local kids that included Lewis Collins. He'd briefly been a teenage member of the Mojos before finding success playing the tough guy Bodie in the cop show, The Professionals, around the same time that I released my first record. I'd always known that infamy lay around every corner on the Mersey side. One afternoon in 1963, I was treading water in the big open air 1930s swimming pool at New Brighton, where the Mersey opens up to the Irish Sea. It was a magnificent concrete palace of primitively formed Art Deco curves like an ice cream cake of pale green and vanilla paint. The pool's structure jutted out over the shoreline and was open to the skies. But even on sunny days, the bathers often shivered in the winds blowing in off Liverpool Bay. The place would eventually be destroyed by a minor hurricane. The photographer, Martin Parr, cast a not uncritical eye on all of this in his photo essay, The Last Resort. But I remember the place with the fondness of lost summer when swimming was done. There was a treat to be had from the double-sided shops that served ice cream, candy floss, sticks of rock, fish and chips, lemonade, and cups of tea to both the bathers and the promenaders walking by outside the pool. Sometimes there would be an announcement over a feeble tannoy speaker, perhaps proposing a bathing beauties contest, but usually just giving the name of a child who had lost its parents in the crowd. On this afternoon, there was a group set up by the end of the pool. They were playing some beat music, but the amplification was so puny, it was hard to hear with your head half underwater. There was suddenly commotion, and lifeguards appeared to be chasing a fully dressed young man up the ladder to the high diving board. This tall, blonde, gangly fellow stripped down to a pair of swimming trunks and, with his arms outstretched to the world, plunged into the 15 feet of water below. There was some screaming and laughter. I swam to the concrete shore of the shallow end to tell someone what I'd seen, and I'd heard an older man say to a young girl eating ice cream, "Don't pay any attention. It's just Rory Storm trying to get his name in the paper." When Rory's Storm and the Hurricanes played the Kaiserkeller in Hamburg in 1960, their opening act was the Beatles, who by 1962 had poached the Hurricanes drummer Ringo Starr and were getting ready to head out of town. By 1970, everything needed to be made up again. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have